What's happening, y'all? Reality After Show. We are back with some more 99 to Beat coverage and interviews. And today I'm joined by two very special guests, David and Avery. How are y'all?
So good. How are you doing, Lauren?
I'm fantastic. I'm so excited to talk to the both of you. My first sibling pair that I have on.
Yes. Love.
So talk to me about y'all's dynamic and getting on the show and the entire breakdown that comes with it.
So I'll kind of start, I guess, when it comes to getting on the show, because that's all me. I am a reality TV buff. Have seen, if someone gets eliminated in a TV show, I've watched it. And I've been waiting for this moment because I was like, I feel like we would be good together. She was about to graduate. I saw a TikTok casting call for dynamic duos, and I was like, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
So I did all of it before even telling her. I didn't tell her that I was doing all this until we had heard back for the first time. And then I said, okay, Avery, I woke her up from a nap. And I said, fill out this application. We're doing this. No backstory to it.
Yeah, that's about it. But honestly, with his excitement and love for reality TV, it kind of brought me into the world too, especially now that we know, like going into it, like the first day, like seeing the people that he recognized and I had no clue who they were, but now I met them and they're so cool. Now I'm watching their seasons on their show. They just gave like a greater appreciation for reality TV. But yeah, no, it literally was from a TikTok, which is insane to see how social media can play an insane role to get on a show.
TikTok's huge. We all know it. That's the way people find content these days.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting hearing that because David, the big time fan, knows everybody. So
Everyone.
David, when you get there and you see all these people from past TV shows, how are you feeling then? You're having to give Avery the whole rundown of all of them.
I mean, the first person we see is Tommy Bracco. And we're like in the hotel, it's breakfast. And not only do I know from Big Brother, but I'm also a theater major. So I'm very familiar with all of his just theater work too. So I stopped in my tracks. And I'm like, Avery, that is Tommy Bracco. Because at this point, we've only seen like normal people. Like we haven't seen any other reality stars. And we didn't heard whisper of any reality stars either. Then we see him, and then I just start hearing big name after big name. I hear Sandra's there, I hear Cara Maria's there, and she literally is not batting an eye. And I'm over in the corner, like eyes big, mouth open, and she's like,
"Who are these people?"
Like it was crazy because we didn't even like talk about that being a potential thing.
Yeah, because then also going into like not only did we think it was just average people, but also with the cash prize being 100,000 to our knowledge to start with, we were like, oh, this is just for fun, it's a little outing with the brother, just something casual, a little side quest. But yeah, no, it definitely just like set a tone, and we kind of were like, oh, okay, even though I didn't know them, his reaction said everything. So.
We love it. And then you get the news, it's $1 million instead of $100,000. And it has to just flip the entire script of the whole mentality going into the start of the game.
I mean, the room, we'd all been talking, everyone knew each other, and it was fun. Everyone was like, this is just going to be fun.
Yeah.
They said that. First off, most of us didn't believe it. We like laughed. We're like, haha, Ken's a comedian. No way that this is a real. And he had to say it multiple times, and you could just see everyone kind of sink into this, and that's when everyone started to look at each other and kind of size each other up as competition. It was the first time it felt like there was competition in the room, and not just 100 people playing funny games. That's kind of what it felt like at first.
Yeah, for sure. I remember like you said, Ken said it multiple times, and it took about the second or third time for me to be like, oh, okay, so one of us could walk away being a millionaire.
Yeah, it's crazy how quickly that does change. I want to touch on this because you are my first duo that has come on the podcast. Did you anticipate other duos being there? I mean, I'm sure you didn't anticipate a family of 12 because that's crazy in itself.
I think we had an idea.
Yeah.
Just because I think it would have been a little weird if we were the only one. But there was actually more than I was expecting. Yeah. And there's some that were on the show that are now that we've seen both episode 1 and 2, there are duos that are gone that weren't even shown. So it's just like there was a lot more than we were expecting, and we're thankful for how it turned out for us. Like,
yeah, I think at the end of the day, one of the biggest things we talked about was like having the representation of like both of us being adopted siblings and having that on the show. and just being able to showcase that in a light. And like, we're really glad that we got the edit that we did. But like he said, there was people who weren't even showcased at all, that were a duo. But yeah, I mean, overall, it was really cool to see also not just the duos or the groups like the big Mormon family, but also the individual players that are there too, who were, you know, average people or people like Sandra and Danny and people who have a background be there. It was a really cool melting pot for sure.
I'm excited that they did show both of y'all's dynamic because it's a huge storyline. It's a big deal. And I, as a viewer, am very appreciative of that. But I want to jump in to the moment you're standing in the circle and everything is about to begin and you see all those balloons and you're waiting on that buzzer to go off. What's running through y'all's mind?
I think it's wild because it sounds so simple. Now we have smiles on our face, but you're automatically, your first thought is, I'm going to struggle with this game. You're like, everyone else is going to do it so fast. I'm going to struggle. And you start to freak yourself out. You start to overthink popping a balloon. Like you cannot do anything to help you, but you're sitting there like, for some reason, I'm going to be so bad at this. And so your eyes are locked in because you're just trying to focus, and you think too hard, you focus too hard for these simple games that we now laugh at.
Yeah, no, I for sure overanalyzed how I was going to leave my spot, how I was going to grab a balloon, if I was going to jump, if I was willing to push people like you saw Geraldine tackle Janice. Like that was running through my head. I was just like, this is what if for grabbing a balloon and popping it to find a lay. Like
every game is like that. Like you have all these grand ideas, and as soon as you get out there, you just go. Like it's fight or flight. You don't actually think. So the build was really bad every time, and then the game would start and you just went. Like autopilot, you just went and did whatever kind of came naturally to you.
Yeah.
And if you had to switch, you switched it up. But it was like every game, the focus face, the overanalyzing, and then the buzzer.
That buzzer. We rewatching the episode. I hear it and it just gives me goosebumps. I'm not even kidding. It is insane how crazy your body just goes into this tunnel vision when you're doing it. And it's just, oh my gosh. It's just like, I'm like getting chills thinking about the buzzer.
You're never going to forget it. Let me tell you this right now. It's never going to go out of your mind ever.
Definitely not. But honestly, it was such an experience. I think for both of us, we can speak on it. Like, even though it did come with its stressors and it definitely was anxiety inducing, it was cool that we got to experience it together as siblings, and definitely something that I know I'm going to tell my kids in the future and be like, yeah, your uncle and I went on a show together.
Absolutely. I want to move on to the ice challenge because that's just it's a brutal one in itself because there's so many different strategies you could utilize. And as you said earlier, David, if something's not working, you have to figure out a way to switch it up.
Which I think that's a great time to jump into that actually, because what you don't see a lot of is that almost everyone ended up with a penalty. Because if the ice touched the floor at all, or if it they wanted to because some people thought maybe I can drop it and it'll create fractures and it'll be easier for me to do that. So if your ice touched the ground, you had a penalty. And you just had to sit there for 3 minutes. I got one right away because it just slipped out of my lap. And so I start to freak out. And I'm like, what can I do? I quickly realized that 3-minute penalty was nothing compared to how long that game actually took. But I'm a sweaty person. And so I immediately am like, if I just push my face into it and suck, and it just starts to melt, which then I'm able to, because they're all struggling, like my little core group that I had is struggling. So I start to just yell. I'm like, suck, like put it to your mouth and suck on it. And they're all like, okay. And they start doing it and they all start finishing.
Yeah, I just remember my first strategy was to put it in the pants, like everybody else, rub it around in there, see if it melts. And then I remember seeing on the UK version of 99 to Beat that they did something similar. And so they used the socks on the hands, use the friction. I didn't care how gross it was because then I'm still in, he's gone safe. And that's when I turned around. He's yelling at me and stuck on it. So the ice, everybody. So I do that, and it worked. It was crazy how fast that strategy did help. And yeah, it just was beyond me. The strategies that I saw people do, it was It was crazy.
But I think you had to use people like your friends, and if they were telling you something and you weren't doing well, you kind of just had to jump ship and trust them.
Yeah.
And if you weren't willing to do that, that's when you see people start to struggle and freak out because they weren't taking a moment to look at the game and how they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
I did hear as well that some people were joking around, your whistle's in further than my whistle, such and such. I mean, I get it because everyone's analyzing the smallest little detail because they're making sure no one has a slight advantage over anybody else.
Oh, there was, I mean, everyone's standing there. People were even talking about, because they can't give us all our blocks at the exact same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's at that point, 99 of us.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, some people were like, those people got theirs first. That means theirs have been sitting ready to melt. It's going to melt. I mean, people were talking about everything out there. I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a game. Yeah. I also was like, shoot, if theirs is closer to the top than mine, like that's just one person that might beat me.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's still so many other people in this game. Like I didn't want to waste my time thinking about it.
You can't, because then you don't stay focused on the task at hand.
Yeah. No, and that actually... There are people that did struggle with constantly worrying about other people on the show.
Yeah.
And it created just weird situations because we even got told eventually, like, everyone focus on yourselves. The refs are here for a reason. Mm-hmm. Like, we will watch. Like, it became a thing.
Yeah.
It was just like, just calm down.
That is honest, but also that does help you though in the long run. I remember, for the ice game, we just did the balloons. I was focused on just getting a lay. Got a lay, woohoo. And then with the ice game, when I looked around and saw that David was safe already, the panic set in because you see all these people that are done and you're like, oh, I'm still in. I don't know how long I have. I just know I can't finish last. And so definitely when you have the opportunity to just focus on you and your game, I feel like that's when you succeed the best, personally. I don't know. I can't speak for everybody, but I feel like for the majority, like it helps you focus on what you're doing.
Yeah.
Definitely. And you hear so many voices too, because someone's cheering for somebody else and then you hear another group cheering for someone else. And so you really have to center yourself almost and just focus on what you have to do, because if you're hearing left, right, middle, center, it's got to be tough.
Yeah.
You had to kind of, we all obviously grouped up and you kind of had to listen for your voices, but you also didn't want to hear your voices because that meant you were not doing the best. Once you started hearing people blatantly say your name or things like that, you were like, oh, there's not as many people as I thought left. Mm-hmm. So you kind of wanted to finish before you heard your name. Mm-hmm. But sometimes having those voices that you knew to listen for was very helpful.
Yeah. And it just gave it a little extra sense of support. Like, for some people, they like this extra, like, hey, cheer on, like, you got it. Both him and I grew up playing sports. So we're used to hearing that from our parents, from our friends that were watching us, our teammates. But also I feel like we're also pretty good just like tunnel vision and kind of blocking it out if we need to. So just figuring out which one we needed at the moment.
Strategy is ever changing. So it's just dependent on what you're exactly doing, which brings me to the weigh-in challenge. And this one was a really interesting one to watch as a viewer because I was just shocked with what they were bringing out round after round.
Yeah, this one was one that I think the majority of people all went with the strategy of, I don't actually care what the item is. I'm going to go where the people are. Because even if we are wrong with the majority as opposed to being wrong with the minority. And then there's 15 people left because I didn't care how much the cactus weighed. I literally did not care.
Nope.
I stood there. I said, everyone's here. I will sit right here.
Stay right here.
And I was fascinated by people that, I respect people who like making your own choice because you're like, no, I feel like this. I'm like, that is great for you. I will take the approach of group mentality.
Yeah. And
I'll run with it.
Definitely. That's more of a group mentality game, and it has to be because your odds go up every single time. If you're with if say your group was completely wrong there, that's fine. There's so many more people you can go up against. But when you're in the minority with the little small, I believe there's 28 people left after the very first round. And also too, everyone was so hyped up about the firefighters. They go, the firefighters have this, they got this. And then you'd see round after round, yep, firefighters have it again. Oh no, they don't have it again.
Mm-hmm. See, I think the funniest one there's Leo, actually, who's like the ranch hand.
Yes.
Everyone went to him first because they were like,
I would say
you're a ranch hand. You probably know how much these things weigh. Everyone was like, Leo. And we were all expecting an animal. We were like, they're going to do something.
something crazy.
Well, because they were asking about allergies and things like that. So we were like, something's going to be big. And so everyone went to him, and then he ends up in the bottom 4.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, that's crazy. Like, it just shows that these games are up in the air. It doesn't matter what your background is. It just matters how you handle it in the moment.
Yeah.
Right. You can be the top person in one game and completely at the bottom the next game. It's just dependent on that. Because as you said, every game is different. And that's why I enjoy this show so much, because it's unpredictable. You can't predict the next game. You have no idea what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool because it does feel like you can root for someone who's doing so well, and then all of a sudden they're gone. And there's, while that's like, whoa, a shock, like your favorite person might go home, it almost makes the feel balanced. Like, it feels like it's not like leaning one direction of like, these types of people are going to win this type of show. Like, it could literally be anyone.
Yeah.
Exactly. So let's talk penne here, because some people were really, really quick and some people struggled massively.
We actually both finished pretty fast. Like, it wasn't a struggle for us. That's the only one that she beat me on, though.
Time-wise, I definitely did, and I rubbed it in his face. I saw him come to the safe zone after he was done, and I was like, "I beat you."
Yeah, even though I had beat her, I guess I didn't beat her on the weighing one, but like,
Yeah.
beat her on the lay, beat her on the ice, beat her on the water bucket.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, we're not there yet, but we will get there.
But let's not talk about that until we need to. But yeah, I will say for the penne personally, that was one of those things that we talked about earlier, just like that tunnel vision. I just was thinking about a strategy of lining all the pennes up on the edge of the table, slowly but surely, just do one at a time, and lo and behold, it worked. So
Yeah, and I don't think either of us had issues with breaking pasta, dropping like
some people were all over the place. I was like, what? Cara Maria dropping her penne? That scared me. I remember we were both safe at that point. Yeah, we were both safe at this point, and
we're just watching it.
We watched her, and it was stressful watching her. And I was like, it's right there. It's right there.
But I'm wondering, because that's one that I didn't really think much about how to put it in my mouth. But I heard a lot of people like, I'm gonna put it under my tongue. I'm gonna like put it in between my teeth, and I'm like, I think the people that overthought it were starting to break theirs because they were so concerned with how it was placed in their mouth.
Yeah.
I just put it. I just put it in my mouth and started to scoop. I like didn't think it. I think that was just the way to go.
Yeah.
Now, what were to happen if someone's pasta, all of it broke?
Well,
Could that have been a factor at all, or was there enough pasta where if it constantly break, they would have been okay?
Yeah, we each had a cup on our desks. I don't know if I think they're shown.
Maybe a little.
There's
bit.
like you see them in just in the big shots, and each of the cups had like multiple strands of pasta in there. And if someone was breaking them that consistently, they would have brought you like another cup. Like you were just gonna sit there and wait till everyone finished. That would be crazy.
That'd be awful. They were good at replenishing those like challenges when you needed extra stuff in case they broke.
Yeah.
I mean, Sarah went through so many breaking.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think she actually went like
I think they refilled her cup a time or two.
Yeah. So they don't want that to be a factor. They want you to play the game.
Yeah.
So they were always ready with stuff like that if things like that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Love to hear that.
Yeah.
Because that's what I think about, because you just don't know how much y'all are given. And so when that could happen, because it's always a possibility.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we all had I used one. I used my one.
Same. Yeah. One and done.
One and done. Great.
Well, y'all crushed that. Now, unfortunately, we have to go to the next challenge and transition to the water bucket challenge. And obviously, too, with this, it's tough in general because you're on a randomized team. I think if y'all were able to pick your teams, we probably would have seen different outcomes.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it was just an unfortunate luck of the draw. Took down Sandra with me. I felt so bad. But yeah, it really also just kind of was the first moment when the rest of the contestants was like, oh, it's real. And this could potentially be us if there's future team games that are randomized. So yeah, it was unfortunate, but I want redemption.
It was weird though, because like my team, which barely beat hers, I don't know if it shows that like how close it looks. It was like, we thought we were going to be in that bottom heat. And all of a sudden, Beth holds up the ball at the end, and we all were shocked because we thought they had it. Like, we saw
We were a bucket away.
Yeah.
Literally a
But
bucket away.
my team, I think I'd spoken to 2 of the people on my team, Michelle and Dee, who I think you've spoken to.
Yes.
The 3 of us, I had spoken to them. I love them. The rest of my team, we even sat there and we all looked at each other kind of like, we really haven't spoken to each other. This is a completely new group. So we like didn't know each other's like boundaries. We didn't know each other's capabilities. It was so, especially being that first team game. And we've only seen each other play 4 games. Like, you did not know where people fell in a group. And it was so hard. So hard.
Even so, too, it's just got to be tough to make a strategy, because when you have so many voices and people talking, and you have to position people in the right spot, because the person at the end is just crucial.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what killed us in the end, was trying to switch up strategy. A lot of people with the type A personality want to take control. And that is what cost us the loss, honestly. It's just the team dynamic was off because one person thought they were right in what they wanted to say. Another person was like, oh, I just, I think I'm also right in this too. And also the stress of it all too. Just being in the arena, honestly, brought a lot of stress. And I think some of my teammates, unfortunately, when they got into the arena and we were at the final heat, that's what the stress caused. And it just like the environment, they couldn't walk in. So
yeah, that was one that I think that the placement of people was really important. And when my team, actually, we had this moment while we were still waiting to play, and we kind of had, everyone was honest about their capabilities.
Yeah.
And when that happened, when we had that kind of breaking moment, we actually switched around our order because people were like, I don't think I can be here. And we were like, that is what we needed you to say. Thank you. Let's make it happen. And when we switched, we made it through. Because we listened to each other, and people were willing to speak up and be like, I can't do that. I should not be there. And it worked out in our favor.
You have to, when it's a team game, sometimes you have to let people know what your capabilities are. Because as you said, if you're just in the wrong position, it can go south. And we see the emotion, David, in that episode as it's going. I mean, it's right on your face. We see the whole thing.
In multiple times, like compilations of me crying, which is weird because I'm not a crier. Like, my friends are like clowning me because they're like shocked. They're like, that I'm like laughy, like I like joke around. We're very competitive. Like, we want to beat each other.
Yeah.
But there was something about the fact that she went to this show for me, and her one thing was, I don't want to lose on a team game.
And that's what happened. And that's exactly what happened. Yeah.
And also, so I'm sitting there thinking about that, and I'm like, this is just so unfortunate. And then people start to touch me, and they're like, oh,
are you okay? Are you okay?
And that's when I start to break, because I'm like, I don't like when people acknowledge that. Like, I'm fine until someone does that. But their team was losing so badly.
So bad.
We all knew, like, halfway through we were like, there's no, which is why you hear me like being like, come on, guys. And there's no hope. Like, I have no hope. But that's why everyone starts to comfort me in the middle of the game and not the end of the game, because everyone knew. So that's why you see so much of me crying, because it didn't start at the end. It started in the middle when everyone had that moment of realization. Yeah,
it was a landslide of a loss for us. Honestly, there was no coming back on the second heat. It just, I think it's just switching up the strategy, overthinking the stress of it all, the anxiety of just like, and also I know some people were looking around, and yeah, no, it was definitely very emotional for both of us. And like he said, he's not emotional. I think I've seen him cry maybe 4 times in my life. So for that the emotion that they captured on the screen was real. It was so real. And I'm honestly, I can't even watch that episode without crying. We were in New York City for the premiere of the show. I cried at the premiere because I can't not watch that without looking back and just seeing how much like my brother cared for me in that moment, and just seeing the support system that I had too, even when I lost. But yeah, it was an emotional roller coaster.
What's so funny is right after that, I go into like a confessional and then the real me comes out, and I make a comment and I'm like, Mom and Dad had their money on me, so I guess brother 1, sister 0. Like, that's our humor. Like, that's like the first thing I say in a confessional afterwards. So it's just like what they show. I was like crazy.
Yeah.
Wild. Granted, it's all real. Like that game. Well, also it was the first team game. Everyone was crying.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the room was just
emotional
because the game felt real. It really was like, we've played 5 games now. And we, at that point, had known each other. We'd met each other, and everyone was crying. Obviously, they highlight us, but we were not the only ones.
Yeah. The whole room was in tears.
Yeah.
But like I said, it just shows like, yeah, we've only known each other at that point less than a week.
Yeah.
And you get so close to the cast, and that was really, really hard to say goodbye to them. And I mean, I knew my brother's gonna be fine. David was fine by himself. So, but overall, though, it was definitely like that moment of, oh, this is game on. So
we see as viewers too, just the connection and the closeness that everyone has for one another, and just the support, even when people are getting eliminated, everyone in that circle giving them their flowers as they're exiting the game. And speaking on that, Avery, what do you have from the experience? What do you take away from this?
I just really am grateful that I got an opportunity to, one, just be in a competitive light. I love competition, and the fact that I got to do it with my brother is also amazing. Yeah, I kind of surprised myself of how I handled myself in some of the stressful situations. I feel like it just depends on the circumstance for me if I can lock in and not worry about it, or freak out and crack under the pressure. I just kind of wish that my loss was my own loss, if that makes sense, rather than it being a team that's out of my control. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't trade it for the world. If there's a season 2, would love to be on to redeem myself. But yeah, overall, it was such an amazing experience.
I love to hear that. It's so fun. I'm able to chat through with y'all. Would y'all like to touch on some of episode 2? Why have you?
Sure.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Well, let's talk about the first challenge of the night that we see. I can't believe they did this one, but also I had to rewind because I wasn't sure if I saw this correctly. Did someone do a front flip into the pile?
Yes.
Yes, he did. Zoltan, he's a mascot. So he was flipping and dancing and constantly doing acrobatic things everywhere.
Yeah.
Anytime he moved, he was doing something like that. So I'm glad that made the cut, because there's so much that has not been seen of what he's doing.
Yeah.
And that was crazy. You see his legs flip in the air.
Yeah. I think even in the first game, the balloon game, he did a flip, or he rolled or something.
Yeah.
He did something. But yeah, even when the cameras weren't rolling, we'd look at him and he'd be doing something.
I can't believe he didn't take anyone out there, because it looked as though a lot of people were very close already into that pile, and I'm just shocked nobody got hit.
Well, and someone did actually, but not from him. Like King David actually had a black eye almost after that, because he dove into the pile head first and it got a shoot to the face.
Oh, wait, I remember this.
Yeah, you see his eye is almost like...
Yes, because he comes out after getting his shirt and says something to Adam, I believe it is.
Yes, he does. Yeah, he got kicked in the face because he just dove head first into the pile.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
But, I mean, you're competing for $1 million. And frankly, that one, you have to keep a level head, because it could be so frustrating not being able to find your shirt. And it's a lot of luck too.
I'll say this about this game, but all of the games in this episode, actually, I think I speak for a lot of us when I say, as a whole cast, these games were some of the hardest ones we did mentally. They kind of all felt like the definition of insanity, where you're doing the same thing over and over again with not a change in your outcome. We have the t-shirt game, which almost went an hour. The nut stacker went almost an hour. And the t-shirts, picking up shirt after shirt after shirt, knowing you've already looked through this area, but people are not throwing clothes there. It just got, and I wasn't even near the bottom. And I was like, this is frustrating. I actually took a step back because I realized I'm looking at the same clothes, and I was like, I'm going to watch people open their shirts. So I stood there and I watched people open their shirts, and I saw someone open mine. So I was like, thank you. And I watched her put it down. I picked it up and I walked off, because I was like, I cannot keep just picking up clothes. I can't do it.
Now, would you have been able to see someone's shirt and just chuck it wherever you wanted to chuck it so it was out of the way? Could you do that?
No, we actually had really strict rules on this one, which is why on the sidelines, you don't really hear us helping people. You just hear us say, let's go. You got it. We were not allowed to give a shirt to anyone. We couldn't, if we saw their shirt, we couldn't be like, hey, Avery, your shirt's over there. Mm-hmm. You couldn't they were like, if you pick up a shirt that's not yours and it looks like you're aggressively throwing it away to hide it, like you'll get in trouble. Like you had to just pick up and drop. They were like, we do not want any cheating allegations. We don't want anyone to feel like this was unfair. So you cannot help anyone. You cannot do anything. It was a strictly you game.
Yeah, especially because there's, as I said, family members, there's still groups in there. And so what's to stop people from putting it all in a pile at once and saying, these are where all the names are, go get your name.
Yep. No, yeah, and I think actually the fact there were like connections of people there is a big reason as to why they do that, because they would have all helped each other.
Oh, for sure.
And the rest, those individuals would have been, I mean, we have friends, people would help, but like there are priorities. Your connection is your priority. And so I think we all appreciated that we couldn't, even though, I mean, we were biting our tongues because we could see shirts, we could see names, and we were like, oh, like if I could just be like,
it's right there, that one.
So it was bad. Like we were all on the edge of our seats that whole game.
Oh, I bet. And then we move on to the nuts challenge, and you just need the most concentration ever possible for this one, because you see people's hands shaking like this. But if you think about it, if they did this challenge at home, their hands aren't going to be shaking like that.
Yeah. That I think is the hardest game done on this show. It was so brutal. I actually do really well at first. I get 7 and I'm about to hit my 8th. I'm not shaky at all. I'm about to put it, it falls. I see someone finish. I immediately shake. Like it is just like, it does not like it. All of us were just, and once you started shaking, I mean, you see David R doing the jumping jacks. A lot of us, like I just stand up and I take a moment because I was like, I'm getting nowhere. I'm just shaking. And you had to find a way to like decompress because that game was impossible with the shaky hands. It was impossible. Oh.
Avery, how do you think you would have done in that type of challenge?
You know, I'd like to say I do really well. But like you said, like when you see people finish, that kind of sets it in for you. Like, oh no, like, do I have enough time? Kind of like when Aggie was in the bottom too with Agnes, like she was asking Julian if she had time. I feel like I would get that moment of being like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough time. And the stress would maybe get to me. But I'd like to say I have a steady hand, but I don't know. Maybe we'll do a little competition and get some nuts and bolts here and we'll try it.
You should. Some of these games you can do right at home. People can be practicing for all of this.
Literally. I think I want to make people play that. I want to make people play that one specifically. Because I think that is one that people are like, I can do that easy.
I can do that. They look at it and then they try and do it.
You try to do 8 and you get to 5 and you're like, huh, 5 is hard. I have to do 3 more. And it just is. Also, it's a single chopstick. Like, it's not like it just was, they would slide. That was also part of the problem. You're trying to place it right off the end, and you're like, well, there we go. And then it would hit your stack, it would fall over again, and back to beginning you go.
I think it just mentally tolling to see just like the repetition, like you said, of just like doing it again. Oh no, almost there. I had to restart, gotta restart. I feel like that might piss me off because I like doing a one and done.
Yep.
So the fact that I think no one did a one and done in that.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I just feel like the penne pasta, like we did a one and done. But I think I would just get annoyed at just redoing it.
Definitely. That's a frustrating challenge in itself. And then we have the next one, David, and have to go to you for this with the potatoes.
Yes. I have a baseball background. So I was ready for this, like any sort of like throwing physical game like that. So I was so excited. I was with Tommy for this one. You don't see that. But I throw with me and Tommy. We catch ours right away. So when Geraldine is like, I don't know what to do. Like, who do I pick? Because Geraldine was freaked. Like, she was so stressed because she was like, we weren't even close in the first round. I don't know what to do. Tommy actually tells her to pick me. He's like, David killed that. And Geraldine was really close to us in the circle as well. So we talked to her a lot. And he was like, pick David. And I could tell that she was stressed. And she needed me to like tell her, yes, I can do that for you. Like, I'm ready. Because she was not confident. And so she kept asking me and I kept helping her. I actually changed up her strategy, which I think is why we do so well in it. Because a lot of people with that one, they try to stab the potato. Like they move their hand, they jolt it to hit it. I before we even got to the show, potato throwing is like a thing that people just do sometimes. Like I've seen it done. I kind of had an idea
like get
of
together,
how to do
yeah.
it. And I was like, if you just put the fork underneath the potato and let it come to you, you'll be fine. You won't split the potato. It'll just land nicely. Because she was aggressively stabbing. And I was like, don't get under it and stay there. Do not move. And it worked. Mm-hmm. Oh, and it worked. And I tried not to show how stressed I was because I was like, I cannot be part of the reason someone goes home. So when she gets it, it was one of the best feelings of that entire experience is that moment.
It's tough too because your number's called there. Someone else is relying on you to help them stay in the game. And that has to be the hardest position to be in. Especially
because she was so stressed. Like if I had said, Geraldine, I'm not confident, she would never have picked me. So it was like because she fully believed that I was like there and ready to do it, I was like, I have to pull through.
Yeah, you kind of have to give her that comfort in her stress.
Yeah,
like mindset that you're like, I'm good. Like,
we did not break eye contact. I said, look at me. I was like, do not look at other people. Mm-hmm. Do not just look at me. And we stayed locked the whole time.
That's the way you have to do it. Now, I'm assuming you two would have partnered up with each other if you both were still in the game, right? Or not?
I don't know, actually.
I don't know. Because I know that was the
probably.
Yeah.
Probably, but here's the thing, because we never got to that level on the show together where we had to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not used to that. Like I never did anything on a team or a partner with Avery. So
yeah.
In my brain, I'm also on the mindset of if you split up, you have a better chance at both making it through. Like
instead of one of us.
Because say we had a bad day, then we're both in the bottom four, as opposed to maybe one of us being there.
And then the other could help one another depending on the scenario that you have. But I am curious because the whole family of 12 was still in that round, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So how did that work math-wise with Preston? Was Preston the only one that went with a different partner, or did someone else do the same?
See, I was thinking about that too, because they make it sound like he's the odd one out in the edit, but there's some of them. I don't remember fully, but I think Leandra, who's Preston's sister, might have gone with someone else.
Okay.
I know that she also stood in the circle, not with family, if I'm correct. Like she was around other people.
Some of them were split up.
Yeah, so the family was all around the circle as opposed to just being 12 in a line. Mm-hmm. And so I think she might have gone with someone close to her, and so therefore Preston did too. But I could be so wrong at that.
But it was confusing as a viewer because as you said, it made it seem like Preston was separated from the entire family. But I said, math isn't mathing here, folks.
Yeah, I also had that, and part of me was like, maybe they're just highlighting this because Jim gets picked to throw, and I was like, maybe they want to. I don't know. I also sat there and kind of cocked my head, like they're all there. They're literally all there.
It's even.
So yes, agreed. I thought that was a bit strange how they worded that one.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Jim for a moment?
Jim. We love Jim.
He is a sweetheart. Mm-hmm. And he was on my water bucket team. Actually, he was on my water bucket team. And he was the one that kind of said, "This is cool. I get to meet all you new people. You guys are all people I really haven't talked to." We were all like, "Yeah." It was just like in that moment, that's not the situation you want to be in. But he was so like happy about it and like had a positive outlook on it. Whereas the rest of us were like, "Yeah, I'm terrified because I don't know what even your
I barely know you." Yeah.
But he just had one of the best spirits out there. Like even if things were going rough, I mean, he loses Tammy second.
Yeah.
I mean, he loses in this episode, but he just constantly kept his head high. It was so much fun to be around.
Good energy.
He just seemed happy to be there, and that was just fun to see because it's an experience, and that's exactly what he said. I lived it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, that Storm literally was like, part of the reason I picked him is just because he's so happy. She was like, that's good energy. She was like, I need the good energy for someone throwing a potato. And she was like, he's just great energy. And we were like, wait, Storm, that's so sweet. Like,
love that.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one here, which is another team challenge, which I like to call absolute chaos to a T.
Mm-hmm. That one is probably everyone's least favorite team game we did because they blinded us. Like, and the moment of having those goggles on, the horn going, and just because on the episode, it's not near as loud as it sounded in that room when we were playing that game. It just was noise. Noise. You couldn't do anything. You were trying to move around, but you also were like, we can't talk either. Like we cannot speak. So it becomes yes, you're listening for music or your instruments, but you're also running into people and you're immediately grabbing their hands because you're like, what do you have? That's not mine. We would toss each other. We were like, no, wrong instrument, get away from me. Because if someone was connected to you and they were, say you had all of your people, if someone else was connected on with you guys, you wouldn't get cleared. Like it had to be that you had to completely kick that person out. So we would, everyone was touching everyone. Everyone's like hooked up with everyone. And you're also just trying not to fall because there's still so many of us that you're stepping on each other. Ugh.
Brutal. And then you have some of the outlier people that are completely by themselves, not even near other people with instruments. And I go, you can hear these other instruments at least, right? Move in that direction somewhat.
Well, and that's always weird to me because at the end, so as instruments start to like find their people, there's less noise. So you would think, oh, they can hear better now. Like obviously they're going to scoot over to their people now that there's like 3 instruments left, but you see that there's 2 instruments left and there's still people that are like completely apart. And we're all like, well, we're also at this point, we're all like confused on if we can speak on the sides because we were like, we're done. We don't know. So we all just kind of played the quiet game because we were like, I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
So we're all watching, specifically Adam, and we're like, oh my God, he's so far away. And then they all drop their instruments. And that's also when all of us really look around and we're like, can we tell them?
Yeah.
Like, can we tell them to pick up? Because yes, they dropped their instrument, but it was dropping the stick for the instrument that really got them because they couldn't find it. And like the rule is you all have to play the instrument at the end. And it just, watching that one in person was heartbreaking because you could see this, like all of them had the moment of, we don't all have our instruments. What do we even do? Yeah. And we're all staring at it. All of the rest of the teams, we're not even watching them do anything anymore. We're all staring at the instrument like, oh my God, it's staring at us. It's waiting to be picked up. And it was just, that was probably one of the hardest losses so far because it just was like,
oh, so not your sister getting out, but
nah.
I mean, even for me watching that back, like just like, cause I heard all the stories and stuff. I knew which challenges were coming up for each episode when I was gone. But watching that as a viewer, I was like, I think I would be like Adam, honestly, just all the way on the corner.
It was, you would literally get King David is the one who, because all 3 Davids happened to be on the same team and connected. Like we were all linked up too, which we were all like, that the odds of that happening are crazy. Yeah. But that man, he is competitive. And he's the one who grabs me first. It's just us 2 walking around for a while, but he grabbed me and I've never been held on. Like the grip, I was like, I'm going down with this ship if that's what's happening. He had his arm around my arm and we just locked.
You have to do what you have to do in that moment. But yes, watching it, the instrument drop, because would they have gotten cleared first, do you think, if they did not drop that instrument?
I don't know because, so honestly, thinking back, I think so. Because it was really close and the other team actually was really struggling with their stands. And I think they actually finished in the middle section a lot closer together than the edit showed. Like, I think it kind of happened at the same time. So it really, we were all like, oh my gosh, this is like neck 2 groups going. And the other team was kind of struggling with the stands and they dropped the instrument. So we're all like, wait, this could go
any direction
either way. Yeah. And then they couldn't find the instruments. And you had multiple people running around, but it was people who didn't even, if I remember correctly, the people running around didn't drop their instruments. So they're trying to help, like, they were like, let's just go get it. Like, we were all like, it was actually, one of the sticks was right in front of my section. And we're all like, because poor Cole is running around. And we're all like, Cole. And we're not saying anything, but it's right there. And it was so sad because they were all like, we need to finish. And it was hard for me, though, because it's hard to watch that. But one of my closest friends is on the other team. Kind of like, oh my gosh.
Yay, no.
Yeah, it was watching them drop that and then not pick it up right away. That's what was interesting. Like, we all knew that you had to play the instrument. They dropped it and just kept going. All were like, why did why didn't he just pick it up?
Yeah.
Like right then and there, avoid the problem. He dropped it and ran. And we were all like, oh my goodness. But I mean, the stress of the game, I guess. Like, that's all there is to it.
It has to be the stress of the game because I think they probably realized they dropped it, but then they're thinking next moment we have to do the stands. I think that's really where your brain ends up going. So it was a drama-filled challenge. I'll say that. And the next challenge is even more drama-filled because of, let's be real, the two at the end. That was crazy.
Well, and what's interesting about this one is because of the nature of the game, all the fans were turned off. The AC was turned off. It was because they would blow off the balloons.
Yes.
It was so hot in that room. And so by the end, I mean, you see Jackie is like crying and sweating. Aggie is struggling. They both are like down bad. Because, I mean, we all were. And they went for, I think, almost 50 minutes, an hour. Because that game was a lot harder than it. I mean, all of us had like bleeding fingers because you just keep pulling. But that one in the moment watching, because it felt just, we were watching people's bodies shut down as opposed to just not them being able to do it. And that was hard to watch as opposed to just they couldn't figure out the game. No, it was like just full shutdown. It was full like body shutdown.
It was a tough one. Could you tell me about what the distance you think it was from where you were standing to where the balloon was?
Oh man, maybe like 6 or 7 feet, maybe.
Okay.
It was like not too far, but when you started shooting, it felt a lot further, and you were like, "Oh, I thought this was gonna be easy," and it would just. I mean, those rubber bands would fling, and and you were like, "I don't even know how it went that direction." But it was not crazy far because the podiums were actually all on our circle spots, and then we were on the insides of them, and we were still in a circle formation, so it couldn't be that far, or we would.
Yeah.
I would probably say 6 or 7 feet, but that's just a ballpark guess.
Yeah, just curious because, I mean, definitely distance does play a factor there. What were to happen if someone hit someone else's balloon?
They were through, and it did happen. If I hit hers off, she's safe. That's the name of the game. I have to keep shooting mine.
Oh,
so you want a bad shooter next to you just in case they hit yours.
That's actually why I've started freaking out because I was next to sharpshooters, like. And they all got it so fast. So, and this is one of those games that you're not turning around to look at like how many people are left. You kind of see who's on the sides of you. And I had people gone, and I'm like, what? How did everyone do this? And I cannot do this. Tommy actually stands behind me until I finish. He just like coaches me through it because I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my goodness, like why? Yeah. And then I finished, and I'm like, oh. I just put a section of the circle that was really good at it, I guess.
You had nothing to worry about, no sweat. Well, David, Avery, is there anything y'all would like to plug?
Our socials. Follow us, Avery Allsup on Instagram, Aves but low-key _ on TikTok.
And then I'm really just on Instagram. Mine's just David.Allsup. Both of us, I think, are just our names, basically.
I love that you say I'm just basically on Instagram, but yet you found this on a TikTok.
So, okay. I have a TikTok, but I don't ever post, so I'm not gonna plug the TikTok. I'm on TikTok, like you catch me scrolling, but I don't post on TikTok, so there's no reason to go find me.
That's completely fair, but listen, I had to put that in there because this started from the TikTok.
You're so real. All of it, literally a TikTok message got us to this interview today. That's the journey. Yeah,
and like honestly, for anyone watching who's like on edge about applying, you never know until you take that first step to do it. And the fact that he could have scrolled past it. He could have scrolled past it. Maybe another time.
Never.
I don't know.
LETV, I'm always pausing. I stop. What's this one?
What's this one? But yeah, I just that first step of just like, okay, like let me shoot a message. Let's see what happens. The worst I can say is no. So
exactly. You have to go for it sometimes because you never know. And then it gets you to this and you have this moment that you can share the rest of your life.
Yeah, with 98 other insanely cool people who we all still talk to. Like, it's crazy.
That's fantastic. I love to hear it. Tell people when they can tune in for the show.
Yeah, so the episode 3 is going to be next Wednesday at 8
Central.
9/8 Central. I was like, what time is it? 8 Central. And I'm still there. Avery's not, but
no, but keep supporting my brother.
yes.
Next day on Hulu. So first 2 episodes are out on Hulu if you want to go watch it. We also, if anybody's in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we will be on Good Day in a couple of weeks in the morning.
Yeah.
And a little segment.
But yeah, we're down to 71 people, and it just keeps getting crazier from there. So keep watching.
Well, David Avery, once again, thank you so much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure, an absolute blast. Everyone else, be sure to check out everything we have going on at the Reality After Show. I will be back with many more episode recaps, interviews with cast members. And with that, David and Avery, such a pleasure. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lauren.